Yo, what up, Street Gods? Eric Kim. All right, some car thoughts or driving thoughts. So this thought is kind of some thoughts about just do what you think is best. So I think the big problem is nowadays we're too scared to do things, and whenever we do something we feel like we need some sort of confirmation from somebody else whether it's okay, right? And it's funny because the phrase carpe diem, right? Carpe means to literally grasp or to seize. I feel like decisions should be the same way too, is that like you don't gotta I don't think it's a good idea to ask other people what they want, because other people have no idea what they want. And it's kind of a more honest way to live life and to decide things, because you probably have a certain aesthetic or ethic or philosophy to things, and it seems like the most pragmatic way to live is to do that which is in accordance with your own values. So for example, one thing that I think is not productive is, people who don't have kids critiquing the parenting of people with kids, because it's kind of superficial, because like there's really no point in critiquing the parenting of someone else if you yourself don't have kids, unless you're doing it as a way to remind yourself what you don't want to do once you become a parent. So for example, observing how other people parent, right? Like before I had Sen, right? It gave me a pretty clear idea of what I didn't want to do as a parent. And once we had Sen, me and Cindy, right? Mostly Cindy, because men can't give birth. Then that gives you a chance to really test your authenticity in terms of what you really believe in. And it's been a very positive experience, because it shows your true beliefs, your revealed beliefs, rather than what you just give the lip service to, right? Talk is cheap, action is expensive. And in my quest of creating my own monster story, if you want to enroll your kids, email me at eric@erickim.com. I'm kind of like, I have a certain philosophy to like child rearing. So a basic one, right, is let your kid do all the quote dangerous stuff while you're doing the adult supervision, to teach them in the future when you're by yourself not to do the dangerous stupid thing, right? Rather than the typical Asian parenting, maybe even American parenting, where you're just like, do this, don't do that, da, 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 and then you just kind of like, rather than teaching the kid the logic behind things, like this is why you don't do things, right? Teaching, do sign language like Kongduk, or speak Vietnamese or Koreans like Moteo, hajima, hajima, right? So that's the kind of the good thing. Because the problem is, if you always tell a kid don't do this, don't do that all the time for every little minor thing, then the downside is when it does really become something super critical, the kids don't understand the signal from the noise. They don't understand what's really, really dangerous. So like, for example, with Sen, I let him do almost anything as long as I supervise. But if it's something insanely dangerous, I'll yell out to him and speak to him in Korean or Vietnamese to not do the thing. And he learns then, when I actually do yell, I mean serious business. And then also the good thing is there's a mutual respect that builds between, me and my son and me and my kids. I only got one kid right now, but TBA. And yeah, and I think, my philosophy to parent is it's pretty simple. Just like treat your kids the way you wish you were treated when you were a kid, right? And so to just let the kid just stay at home all day, just be locked up, and can't go outside. To me, that's like, to me, it feels like borderline like child cruelty. I mean, certainly it's not too productive to be too into the business of other people's parenting, but you know, if other people's kids are around me and they want to play with me, I'm gonna play with them, right? And this extends to everything in life. It's one thing to have an opinion about something, and then it's another thing to actually enact some sort of action, which you do something about it, right? Like, you know, critiquing the fact that the kids is at home playing video games all day, right? Maybe the real critical issue at hand is that the parents just never take them to the park because the parents are too busy with work, etc. And you know, it's not like nobody's fault, but you know, to simply criticize somebody without taking action is kind of fruitless. So for example, you know, if I look at other people's kids and they look kind of like weak and scrawny, right? Then, you know, rather than me just like, you know, making fun of the kid for looking weak and scrawny, right? Like, I should actually try to physically engage them and do something about it. Otherwise, I should just keep my mouth shut. I've actually discovered, you know, it's natural to be judgy and to have negative thoughts about other people, whatever. But I think such a simple thing is, right? It's like, you want something nice to say, just don't say it, right? Just keep it in your mind. Like, you know, it's okay to be secretly judgy in your mind. I mean, that's something you can't really control. What you could control is whether you're going to say the thing or not. And I think the reason why a lot of people criticize other people is that people want to feel an elevated self-esteem or ego boost by putting other people down. I find this to be very I find this kind of behavior to be very unproductive because life ain't zero sum, right? Like, for example, if you're at the gym, right, and you see somebody who could, I don't know, squat or deadlift 7 plates, because he's stronger than you, doesn't mean that you're somehow diminished. No, the best way to think about it is, wow, that dude could squat 7 plates or deadlift 7 plates or whatever. If I try hard enough and I keep training, I could become as strong as that guy, maybe even stronger. So the good American line of thinking is being motivated by the success of other people, which is overall pretty positive. Whereas in the UK, it's the tall poppy syndrome, where, you know, you see a dude who's super rich and successful and you want to like chop them down and delegitimize their success. And it's like, oh, you know, that guy, you know, he probably has a small dick, or you know, he's cheated. So in America, at least one of the good thing with this notion of trying to become rich, you know, Forbes billionaire list, whatever, it's like, if that guy could become a billionaire, that means I could become a billionaire. My friend Justin has this theory. It's like, why are Americans not for, you know, taxing the billionaires, right? He said it's so funny. He was like, because if you tax the billionaires, what if I become a billionaire? I don't want to be taxed. So the line of thinking is actually pretty funny. But anyways, so towards a non-zero sum way of seeing things. This is like, once again, with kids, right? If a kid is more capable than your kid, it's not like you should feel like, oh, I feel so bad because my kid is inferior compared to the other kid. It's more like it should be a positive thing where, wow, that kid can already do this. Huh, I didn't think about that. Maybe I could teach my kid how to do this. So for example, I started potty training Sen when he was like, I don't know, 4 or 5 months, maybe? We were inherited this like baby potty thing. So I essentially like potty trained him, like, and I was super gung-ho about it, and everyone was kind of skeptical of me, but then I did it. And pretty much within a month or a few months, he essentially came potty trained. I mean, he never pooped his diaper or his training underwear, Cindy's idea. He would always poop in the potty. And now his 1 year, 9 months, I could poop him in or pee him in any public restroom. The pro tip for us parents, or soon to be parents, have your kids sit in the adult toilet and face towards the flushing mechanism, and then they could brace their hands there. So he essentially pretty much poops or pees on any adult toilet. It's only 1 year, 9 months, and I'm pretty proud of it. So anyways, that ain't to be like flexing. It's like, yo, the basic baby is still in diapers. And it's like, no, bro, like, let's all thrive together. It's, you know, my kid's potty trained, your kid could be potty trained too. And then, you know, like, I'm not that special, Seneca's not that special or different. I mean, that's a weird thing, is that genetically humans, we're like 99.9% more similar than dissimilar. Dissimilarities include superficial things like, you know, height, skin tone, facial, bodily, morphological features, etc. But beyond that, we's far more similar than dissimilar. So it's, you know, like, even with geniuses, right? Like Kanye said, a genius is a kid with just good parents, right? Like, a genius ain't no like demigod or anything like that. It's even a Mozart, right? Why did Mozart become a Mozart? Not because he was born with like a triple ear, but because, you know, you know, his parents or whatever essentially trained him to be, you know, a musical prodigy at a young age, right? Even with Seneca, one thing I've discovered is all of his interests. Bus 볼래? Okay, bus 봐요. Bus. Okay. All of his interests are just essentially my interests. So like, you know, photography, making music, GarageBand, using my Rico, stuff like that. Anyways, so I like this idea of where you cultivate your own worldview and you enact the action to actually do something about it.